journey started as an adult, I would say, as a young adult. I was raised atheist, but I'm from Jewish background, so that was already kind of a weird relationship with spirituality. One that I was pretty much blocked from until I was a young adult by family, being like strictly atheist. And that was fine with me until I experienced grief and loss and illness, and I didn't really have any way of conceptualizing that. Like when you lose a parent, you start to think, what happens after death? And I needed to have some type of grasp of those concepts to heal in those moments. And that's where spirituality came in, because it had some answers for me. And whether or not they were correct was not important. It was just that there was something else that I could believe in that would feel more healing, I guess, in a sense, which led to the rabbit hole of documentaries and the research and reading and working with 8,000 healers. You know how it goes when you get excited and the rabbit hole begins. But that all kind of tapered out, actually. I had like two little spiritual moments because I went on to college to study psychology, to be a counselor, which I still am. But that didn't quite feel like enough. And I was having a pretty chronic illness at that time, a sinus function. It's better now. But Western medicine stopped working for me during that time. Like surgery and spending a lot of time with the doctors in the hospital doing all that. And nothing worked. It would not get better. So I got frustrated and I turned to alternative medicine, like Reiki healing. And within 3 weeks, it was gone, and I've never had an issue with it ever again. And so I thought, there's something here, something's going on. Went ahead to learn Reiki myself, because why not? And I had a Reiki studio, and that was my first business for a while in my early 20s. But that wasn't enough either. So all that time I was learning astrology, doing that whole thing, and I went ahead and made a second business where I could combine all of my learnings and interests. And now I do psychology and counseling and astrology and channeling and healing all at the same time in my work. But the journey was kind of had some detours in there, some turns that didn't quite make sense. They felt really separate until this point in my life when they all go together in this business I'm in now. Yeah.
So for channeling, is that mediumship or no?
It's very similar, I would say. They're in the same domain. They both involve opening yourself or your mind or your vessel to maybe entities or energies beyond the physical experience. I heard people describe it as tuning a radio to different stations, but the radio is still the channeler or the medium, the person in this case. But the tuning there is the difference. So you could tune it to be a medium where you would hear messages or receive them in some way from a supernatural place, usually from people who have passed on to the other side. It's more of that type of situation. Whereas channeling, you could get messages from different dimensions. I know that sounds pretty wild. But like higher dimensional beings, some people work with angels, some say aliens, some of them it's their higher self or just source energy. It's just a radio with different places that you want to receive your guidance from. So I'm not a medium, but I could be because I'm a channel, so I could tune it wherever I'd like it to go. But for me, I like it to go to the channel side, not the medium side.
So do you prefer like astrology over the channeling, or is it more like, oh, I like both, but for my professional career, I leaned more into astrology?
I combine them, as I have found needs to be kind of, that feels the most fulfilling and full when I can combine different parts of my journey and my gifts into my work. So when I'm doing astrology, like especially with one-to-one clients, I'm channeling at the same time. So usually what the service is astrological guidance or like traditional counseling techniques kind of sprinkled in there, because those are good skills in one-to-one interactions anyway, while channeling extra messages and kind of guiding the astrology conversation too. So yeah, all the above.